Hi, this is Wayne Blau with another smart profit maximizing moment. It's Tuesday, so I got that right. It seems like only Monday I need to be retrained. Again, my name is Wayne Blau. I'm a local CPA who's been working with small business owners, increase their profits and pay less taxes. And I am the founder of the CPA firm, and the creator of the smart profit maximizing system. One of the things I teach in that is to have a customer callback plan. All right. What I mean by that is to have a plan to call them after the sale. All right. Every business owner should have such a system because it increases sales and cuts down on lost customers. Remember, it's much more costly to get a new customer than it is to keep a customer. Plus, the lifetime value of a customer is ridiculous. I need to go over that. That's one I'm going to have to put in the back of my head. That's one of the key things you need to know is the lifetime value of a customer. All right. If it's not feasible, if you have a ton of customers, at least sample. Definitely hit a sample would be every customer over X amount, because you want to make sure you hit your top customers, your top sales, and every 10th customer or something like that. A customer callback department would be used, and here's 5 things that I usually try to use it for. 1, to follow up with all customers to receive feedback about this company's service, all right? And to take care of any problems that may be there before, that would stop them from being a customer in the future. 2, to answer any questions the customer may have about using your product. Now, you can decide whether to call them, tell them you're going to call them, or just call them. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. If you tell them you're going to call them and you don't, there's a problem. If you don't tell them, and when you do call them, it's a pleasant surprise, because when was the last time you got a call from someplace you bought something from? All right. 3, explore opportunities for selling additional products to the current customers. I'll give you an example in a minute of how we use this. All right. 4, ask for referrals. Very important. And 5, if nothing else, say thank you. The customer chose you out of all the choices they had out there, including doing it themselves, and you should thank them for that and make sure that they're happy, okay? Employees who make these calls have to be trained, have good telephone personalities, and be motivated to ensure the customer receives legendary customer service. We don't want just average. You want legendary customer service, okay? You should have a script. Matter of fact, I would recommend that the owner, if at all possible, call at least the large ones and start off with. They're the ones that make the call, and occasionally make calls anyways. It was one of the things Steve Jobs did is he would call people. He would call suppliers. He would call customers out of the blue. All right, so it doesn't hurt if the owner does it. If Jobs could do it and he ran and grew Apple from nothing to what it is, then you can too. I guarantee you. Just find some time. I'm going to explain in a minute with an example how this can be very profitable. You have the script, and then finally a follow-up system for the complaints that you may receive. Remember, go back and look at one I had last week. Pretty sure it was last week. One of the videos I did went over how to solve customer problems once and for all using hot tickets. All right. I'm going to give you an example of one that I had. I worked with a portrait studio. Now think of a portrait studio. We're not talking about, pictures, and they still do exist. They tend to be used for weddings and, big events where you want a professional done portrait. All right. Now, we use the system I'm going to outline that we designed for him, and it had a 50% increase in sales, and truthfully over that in profit, because he was dealing with customers he didn't have to spend advertising on. So it's close to 60% increase in profits. All right. The owner did a very good job of selling packages. He knew his business, all right? He knew to have upsells and increase the average sale. He was always trying to sell the framing for the customers. But the customers often turned him down because it wasn't cheap, all right? Just the basic stuff that they ordered could be $500, $1,000, $1,500, or $2,000 or more. It wasn't cheap, all right? So we set up the following procedure. A week after the sale, he or his staff called the customer to make sure they were happy with their order and asked if they needed any additional prints. Customers almost always discovered that they had taken too few. all right, that other family members or friends wanted them. Plus, if nothing else, it also, during that call, we discovered a lot of them still had them in the bag and hadn't taken them out. So you're reminding them, hey, you bought these pictures of your wedding to share. Put them up, share them, okay? A month after the sale, he would call again and thank them for their purchase. That's where he started with. And then he would ask them if they'd gotten a chance to frame their wonderful portraits that they had purchased. Most customers, 90% is what I remember. It was right around 90%, a little above, a little below, depending on what time of year it was. And we really couldn't figure out what was causing it. But it was in 5 to 10 points either way. So we're looking at 85 to 95% had not framed them, all right? He would have a script that basically, he said, it's a shame you're not displaying the portraits that were so important to you, that are so important to you. I would like to help you by offering to frame them with a special discount just for you. In other words, this isn't I don't publicize this discount anywhere. This is just for you because, man, I'm proud of my work, and I hate to see you not put them up just because of monetary. He made a ton of sales this way, all right? Because some time had elapsed since the money on the portraits had been laid out. The customer did not feel they had wasted money on the portraits no one could see and enjoy. Second thing he did during this call is he would ask them for referrals using the method I outlined earlier. I need to find this one too, the correct way to ask for referrals. I'll give you a hint on this one. I'll give you a little small piece of it. The correct way to ask for the referrals is not to say, is anybody else wanting to take portraits? He would ask if it was a wedding, they were probably of the age, not always nowadays, but usually they were of an age where their friends were getting married too. So he asked if any of their friends were also getting married or just got engaged, that he could refer them. Was anybody having a baby? Anybody graduating? Anybody having an anniversary, a 10th, 25th, 50th anniversary? He asked questions that got them to thinking about people they knew rather than, do you know anybody else who needs a portrait? I can't answer that question. But if you ask me who's having a baby, I can think of 3 or 4 right now, without even trying. If you ask if somebody getting married, well, I'm a little older, I don't know anybody. That's not true. I do know somebody, one of my daughter's friends, okay? Do you know somebody that's having an anniversary? Well, we just had our 4th, so yeah, me. But there's others too. But you notice the correct way to ask for a referral is to ask for situations that get me thinking, the customer, thinking about situations rather than who needs portraits, who's in a situation that's likely to buy their product. We didn't end there though. 6 months after the sale, he would call the customer with another sales pitch. And this one went along the ways of, hey, I was just going through my file. It's my practice to get rid of unused prints after 6 months. Yeah, yes, because I need the room. But before destroying the prints, I thought I'd give you a call. Thought you might be interested in buying them rather than me destroying them. And I'll put them 50% off. It was amazing how many sold because the customers hated the idea of having the prints of their loved ones, of their wedding or whatever, destroyed, and they could get them all for a package or 50% off. All right, even though they hadn't agreed to buy them in the first place. Now, what did that cost them to sell them? He'd already printed them. They just decided they didn't want them at the original time of purchase. It's amazing. He was almost up to 50% of the people he called were buying these prints after the fact, okay? He also offered to frame the additional portraits, the big size, using some discounted frames that he was willing to let them have for a very deep discount. Discontinued frames. And he would say that. He would tell them the truth. I got some frames that, I no longer stock. I got a few left over. I'll give it to you for 25 cents on a dollar. I mean, he got cost back is what he was trying to do. Then he'd ask for referrals again. All right. The structure of this follow-up system, it increased his sales by over 50%. What I need you to do, and here's your homework, all right, analyze your business and see how you can increase sales and profits with a customer callback department. And here's the steps I would take. Re-listen to this video, all right? Determine what you want to accomplish. Remember the 5 things that I said at the beginning that you want to accomplish. Follow up with the customer to receive feedback about your company's service. Is that something you want to do? Answer any questions the customer may have about using your products. Explore opportunities for selling additional products to your current customers. This should be number 1 thing you're trying to do. But, you should do the others too while you're at it. Ask for referrals. My gosh, a happy customer, referral. I love it when somebody says you were referred by fill in the blank, because that means basically that their referral is, they're coming to me already pretty much sold. All right, so remember, that's the fourth thing you're trying to do with a customer sales department, customer callback plan, is to ask for referrals. And at bare minimum, the fifth thing you need to do is thank them. Remember, they chose you to deal with. Out of all the choices they had out there, including doing nothing, they chose you. So say thank you. The next step of what you want to do, like I said, go back and watch this video. All right. Remember, the example I gave you for the portrait studio is something that you could copy in almost any business to some degree or another. And that one had that one step of adding a customer a customer callback plan, was to increase sales by over 50% without spending $1. All right. Create your callback schedule. His was a week. What was his again? A week, a month, and 6 months. Yeah. So when are you going to call? And remember, if you have too many customers, sample. So with these kind of results, you might want to put some time and money into it. Okay. Create your script as much as possible. The owner should do it. Brain stopped right there for a minute. That's the problem with live. All right. The owner should make the call. All right. But create your script so others can decide who's going to make the calls. You can split it. Like I said, maybe the owner calls everybody above a certain level. Because those are the ones that really, they're the 80-20 rule we talked about. Maybe the owner calls the 20% that result in 80% of the profits and 80% of the sales. All right. And finally, review your results and fix them. This is an important video. If you haven't, be sure to watch it again. I mean, I've never put a customer callback department in place that didn't work. Okay, excuse me. I call, I don't technically, you're never saying you're a customer callback department. I try to call all my businesses once or twice a year to bring them into an event I'm having, or a video I'm doing, or something I'm doing. I'm going to be calling them for the pop-up challenge I'm going to do later on how to create your own business plan. I'm literally going to walk them through, not business plan, that's horrible, their own profit plan that I pretty much guarantee if they do the work with me, they're going to double their profits. And I'm going to do it in a 4 or 5 day period, 45 minutes to an hour a day, where we're going to walk through, give you homework, the steps that I would do when I'm coaching somebody on how to do it. All right. So until next time, this is Wayne Belisle saying, let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you very much.